Well, welcome, LEMC. So glad to introduce you to Tjeerd Wouda and allow you to hear some of his story as a baker. Tjeerd, do you just want to briefly introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Tjeerd Wouda. I'm a retired baker. I've been in Canada for 43 years this year coming. All the time we were mostly in Huntsville as having a retail bakery. Then we came 7 years ago in Atwood. There I started helping a little bit in a small bakery in Gallestown because I really enjoy baking. I miss it, but anyway, that's over. So that's my life, basically, what I'm starting here with.
And you said you've been a baker basically since you've been 15.
Yes, I was born and raised in a bakery in Holland. My dad always said jokingly, your crib was the mixer, but I think he was not joking. He introduced us quite often very early and little manual tasks. One example is just that time we made our own almond paste, and we boiled the almonds, and then we had to peel off the skin. And that was a terrible job. I rather would have that for punishment, spank it for punishment than doing that. But
then
that
to
was
peel the almonds.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And Tjeerd, I just want to give you a chance to share what your relationship with God, how that impacted your work as a baker.
Well, not in the beginning, I must say. When we bought our first bakery in Holland, and there was not much God in. I was a Christian, a churchgoer, pretending to be a Christian, and I didn't really think about God that much. When we moved to Canada, that was another thing that, and that's another interview word, but I'm not going into that.
Yeah.
When we came here, I became a Christian. I accepted Jesus in 1983. And things changed dramatically. I always was brought up with, for instance, that we work with the product that God provided for us, that God grows for us. And that really came more significant for me, more real as what do we do with the product that God supplies us? And how we handle that. And then the issue came up with practices of how we show the world that we are Christians, with not overdoing it. That was always my problem. And I mean, with this, it's so when we came in Huntsville, we had only a retail bakery. And so I was always brought up that Sunday was the day of rest. There was no doubt in my mind that was it. That was so easy in Holland and here in Huntsville too, because at that time there was not a shop open. That's changed through the time, but we remained closed because I strongly believe that the seventh day is God's day of rest, and we should rest. And that might not be for everybody, okay? But for me it was a conviction.
Yeah.
And that became a problem when I started wholesaling. So then God put me to a test. I had several fairly large resorts, and they required quite a bit of bread, buns, some pastry stuff. And at one or another point they started saying, hey, you don't deliver on Sunday, why? I said, well, so and so. I said, well, we need it, so he said, well, I can't do it. It's my conviction. And so over the time we lost customers. In the weekday, they didn't come back either. Maybe they were mad, I don't know. But God was always faithful. In the end, He always brought them back. So I think there, to me, God became more important than what He says. We will never be short if we are faithful to Him.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, Philippians 4:6 was always a favorite verse of me. As far as that, you supply your needs. 19, I will supply your needs whenever you need. And
right.
He always was very faithful.
Right.
We had several occasions like that. And things became pretty lean when we had these times, but we always had enough. That was the amazing thing.
Right.
And He honored that in many other ways. And I think it goes back from my childhood when I saw my dad working. Dad had a pretty rough life. He lost his wife when I was four, and then he had 7 kids, and he was 37 years old, and he made it through, and he remarried again, a wonderful mother for me. But in the meantime, he worked very hard. But one thing was always his motto is that he had a sign in the bakery, and it was, if I translate it from Dutch in English, it was like, the oven is my pleasure, with God I seek my treasure. And so that really is a strong saying, but he trusted God so much, and I think I have taken over that, not always consciously, but deep in my back conscious, I really took that with me. So.
Yes, that the oven is your pleasure, but God is your treasure.
And my treasure, yeah. And I really believe that helped me through, because I really love my oven. I mean,
yes.
Not the oven, but the thing that comes out of it.
Yeah.
So in the long run, God had another thing that was in mind. Was, I had from the beginning, when I became a Christian, I came across a verse in Proverbs 22, verse 29, it says, if thou seest a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings and not before mean men. And I sort of adapted that in my business doing. And try to be honest, try to work hard, give good service, and don't look at people who are they or what are they. But so eventually I got the honor to bake for the G8. You know what the G8 is?
Yes.
That was 1910, and it was at a big resort Dierhurst, and I was chosen, honestly, to supply these big shots for the rolls and buns and bread and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was quite an honor, honestly. And not only that, it was a big thing, because it was 4,000 policemen coming in Huntsville.
Right.
Believe it or not, it was just crazy. But
That is crazy.
But anyway, a friend later phoned me up and he said, you know what, your first comes through. It might not be a king, but they were world leaders.
Yes.
And they're very looked after, because they were specific what you could bake and not bake and blah, 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 and it was tested and so on and so forth. So that was kind of an honor and a sort of an accomplishment that God said, hey, I will honor you if you go that way. So,
yes.
Yeah.
God honored just a diligence in your work, whether you were mega succeeding,
well, yeah,
or whether you were just barely scraping through.
Seriously, we had rough times. I had one time I closed the bakery for 4 weeks because he had no business.
Right.
And we didn't make it. I said, well, go for work for another bakery. But I did that for 4 weeks and said, I can't work for somebody else anymore. I'm 65, forget it. I should have to have my own business. So. But yeah, the whole journey with God was bringing again, over and over again, that He supplied for us. He looks after our needs. So, and I brought that to my kids too, hopefully. So they never were bakers. That's fine. Kids.
Hey,
So,
thank you so much, Tjeerd.
Yeah.
What a beautiful example, and I just so appreciate that story. And I think it's so interesting that God put that scripture on your heart.
Yeah.
And then fulfilled it.
Yes.
That's a scripture that's never meant anything to me personally.
No.
Right?
No.
But that's something that He caused to mean something to you.
Yeah.
And then fulfilled that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any other final encouragement for people as they think about their relationship with God in their own work?
Well, honestly, I had a very good supporter in my whole business deal, and that was my wife, Adi. She always encouraged me, look into the Bible, trust the Bible, trust the Bible more. And sometimes I get mad, or she, don't nag me so much, but listen to your wife, listen to your business partner, or whatever it is, that really, if they meant well, and it came out well. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I trust that this is an encouragement to you as you listen and think about the way that God's calling you to work diligently in your own work, to honor Him in the way that you do it, and trust that He desires to use you, to bless others. He desires to provide for you and to lead the way that you do your work as well. Thank you, Tjeerd.
Thank you.